Before we start the video, this information might be updated because Deepwoken gets updates regularly to lore and stuff like that. So make sure you do keep that in mind, and make sure to subscribe. Only a small percentage of you are subscribed that watch my videos, so make sure you do that, because this video did take a long time to make and it would go a long way. That out of the way, let's get into who are the Grimoires. Dear folk of the land are among the few that still consider themselves free from authority and subjugation. Grimoires seek simple lives away from the conflicts of the authority. With a major living in nomadic tribes, the Grimoires of the Eastern Lumina are renowned for following a celestial known as Neve, a protector of ice and shadow. Grimoires seem to be the developers of many fist techniques, as their goddesses is the namesake of Way of Neve, as well as Fists of Neve, which is acquired by wearing the Neve nomad robes. Grimoires are also known for their durability and endurance. They start off with an extra stat, 2 extra stats put into strength and fortitude. Grimoires have a talent called Neve's Guidance. Neve's Guidance provides guidance to Grimoires with a compass in the middle of the screen, top middle of their screen, with the cardinal directions, and it also gives them a light when their character is procced with the blinding status, and they are less prone to starvation within Deepwoken. Now this talent is pretty good and pretty important for the Grimoires, because I believe their talents will also come to great use within the coming updates of Deepwoken. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but with all the mobs in Deepwoken, I have not seen one Grimoirian mob wield Gale. I don't know if that has to do with their Neve, because the Seltors usually wield wind, and that's basically what made their city of Seltor drown into the depths, and use of Gale to science, or quote-unquote science out the song. And and that is basically, there are 3 variants of Grimoire so far. The first has gray brownish horns, the second one has white winter type horns, and the third one is a reddish brown type styled horns. As you can see in the clip, I have the reddish brown one, and I really don't understand the origin. Maybe the origin is basically just where they were, like white winter ones, the Grimoires that grew in the winter, the reddish brownish ones, the Grimoires that grew within the, I don't know, hot summers or something, I believe. I'm speculating here. And then the normal ones are the ones that just grew in normal type of weather that was always subject to change. Who are the Kanor? The race of Canes. Little is currently known about their origins. Once guards of the Etrian/Central Authority, unknown why this ended. Now, there's not much lore surrounding the Kanors, and I actually do not know why the description is so short. It's probably because they will have more descriptions later on, maybe in layer 2, I don't know. Their attributes are 2 stats within strength and charisma, and they have a talent called Loyalty, which allies take less damage from attacks. That means guild members, and that is basically all their buffs that they have for now, I guess. Apparently this race is not a dog type race, even though they're called Kanor and they have terms like Canes. Apparently it's based off of lions. That's basically confirmed by Archmage, but it doesn't seem right. They have an ability called Loyalty, their name's Kanor, sounds like canine, so I still think that it's a dog race, or dog based race within this scenario. Now, they used to be guards of the Etrian and Central Authority, and I think that is because of their talent or trait known as Loyalty. They might have had or been the beginner or starters of the Etrian/Central Authority, making them stay within the Authority and the Etrians factions for years and years on end. But they said that it ended for unknown reasons, which means someone probably broke the cycle of them being loyal to the Authority and the Etrian factions. There's not much lore surrounding Kanors. not for now. They seem to have more dog type features than lion features, but I can also see the lion features within their characters as well. As you can see, the outlines of their eyes. They also have different variants, but they're kind of too complex to really list, so you can actually see different variants if you have Kanor race within Deepwoken. I was not expecting this video to actually not have much information on Kanors. I thought they would have one of the most informations within Deepwoken, but yeah, that's basically all the information on Kanors. Who are the Seltors? A prideful and greedy race. The Seltors had a city of great renown, known for their legendary bankers and overall wealth. The city sported titanic walls that were only paired with a navy that no other could compare to, though as a result of the dependence of their navy and wall, the city guard were low, and what was considered their army was much less prepared than what their navy had been capable of. However, all good things do come to an end, as eventually the entire city and the land it was upon had been undertowed beneath the sea, dragged all the way to the bottom of the ocean and into the depths below. Legends speak of a few survivors of the city recalling maddening tales of that fateful day. The creature known only as a Seltorian horror had been a beast of the Etrians connotations, sporting a mass of tentacles and a beak. It has essentially erased the presence of the Seltorian city from our world. Seltors have a talent called Seaborn. The talent gives you 20% faster turn on your ships, it gives a 10% additional health to owned ships, and it gives you a 20% discount at the shipwright. Seltors also start with 2 intelligence and 2 charisma. Seltors are also skilled users of Gale Breath. That's why you can sometimes in some Seltors see the green within their hair or within the markings on their face. Now the reason why Seltor, the city, drowned to the depths is because of potential corruption within Seltor. There are some NPCs that talk about this, that Seltor was a place getting corrupt. It was a booming city, but they were abusing the song by using Gale all the time. At least that's what I think, because Gale and Shadow silence out the song, but all the other elements help the song thrive. So I believe since most of them were Gale breathers, they were all eliminated by their Seltorian horror, which looks like it was a squid, a huge squid. There are 3 variants of Seltor. There's bright green hair, dark green hair, and there's black hair. Now I don't know if there is any relation with their hair color that signifies their element or mantra use, but there is nothing that really changes when you choose the different variants of any race within Deepwoken. But that is all the information I have on Seltors for now. Who are the Capra? They are keepers of ancient secrets who travel the sea sharing knowledge with those who need it. Now that is the only description that it has, and I know it's shorter than the Kanor, but they also do have intelligence and willpower. They have a talent varying on which variant you choose. One talent is called Mark of Ku, the second talent is called Mark of Nimet, and the third one is Mark of Jurik. And I do not know why these ones don't actually work on the Capra, the user itself. It only works on allies. The first one is Red Capra, which is Mark of Ku. Buffs the rest HP regen of one person they choose around them as long as they are at a campfire or level 5+. The second one buffs the food of one person they choose around them as long as they are at a campfire or level 5+. And the third one buffs the sanity of one person they choose around a campfire or if they are level 5+. Now I haven't really tested Capra. I have Capra, but I have not tested if you can actually use the Mark of Ku, Nimet, or Jurik around somebody that is level 5+. I've only done it at a campfire before, so they might have buffed it to where you can do it around other people without being at a campfire. But yeah, it is pretty okay, but I don't know if it's 2% roll chance okay for talents wise. I mean, other races in Deepwoken get lower talents, or they don't get good talents at all. But I theorize that these are what used to be around before all the other races within Deepwoken. They say that they are keeper of ancient secrets, but they don't tell us which secrets that they keep. We don't know if they are related to the drowned gods or if they are related to the living ones. The living ones like Neve or the Mother. They also have a goddess they worship, or not worship, but more of they're aligned with, called the Mother. Or not the Mother, something along the lines of Mother. I just know that I've seen it before, that they are closer to the Mother or something like that, and I do not know who that is. Either it is Neve or it is probably related to Neve, but both Neve and the Mother are both goddesses, so they might be one of the same thing, connecting their power embodiment to another being like Capra's or Gremmar's. But yeah, there's not much stuff on Capra. The talents are what really shines when you're playing Capra. But yeah, there's not much on here, just like there's not much on Kanor, and I can't really make assumptions because people will be rampaging in the comment sections below. People who have, I don't know, delved deeper within Deepwoken NPCs and lore. Who are the Khan? They hail from the Western Luminant and are the most prominent race in the 100 Legions. This is the only description on the Khan. Nothing more, and I think that when more Luminants come out within Deepwoken, we will actually see more lore on these characters because there's simply not enough information. I think that one sentence is the shortest lore for all the races within Deepwoken. But yeah, the Khans are seen within the 100 Legions, so I believe that the 100 Legions, just like the Etrians, control the Western Luminant. But you do get a 2-stat buff in their strength and agility, and they have a talent called Versatile. You learn how to use new pieces of equipment quicker than other people do. You can equip equipments 3 points below the requirement for everybody else. So that means if something was, I don't know, 3 medium, you can equip it at 0 medium, which is a pretty good talent. It's not a bad talent at all, but it's the only talent that they have, and there isn't even much stuff on the Khan. Any Khan NPC you see is usually busted, or, you know, busted. Like, that's literally the only Khan versions I've seen. I've never seen a weak Khan within Deepwoken yet. For example, when you go to the Authority, you can see 100 legions within one of the prisons in the Authority. Like, he's just sitting there with his gate open. I don't know if the 100 legions and the Authority are friends or not, but when you talk to him, he punches you. He literally takes all your health. He barrage punches you, and that's how you unlock your Fortitude. But that's basically all the lore that Khan has for now. I don't have anything else on Khan. I know this video is extremely short. Who are the Visperians? Eons ago, a long extinct species faced a cultural shift in response to the rising tides. Those talented few were blessed with the art of life weaving. They vowed to turn their backs to the tides and grow great living hives above the ocean deep, becoming what we in the modern world know as Visperians. The few embracing the coming waves sunk to the deep and settling in as its last drowned inhabitants. These adventurous folk became what we know as Ganymedes. Okay, before I get excited over the lore of Visperians having more than a sentence, let's get the known facts down first. Ganymedes and Visperians are related in more than one way. I noticed this first when Desired, you can go check out his channel in the description below, actually zoomed into his mask and had the same eyes as a Ganymede did. Now, I thought this was just the developers being lazy or something, but before making this video, I thought Visperians and Ganymedes were still a separate type of race, instead of being one race with 2 different variations. Visperians have a talent. It's basically exoskeleton. They start off with it. It's called Chi Tin. You have a layer of natural armor that replenishes when you rest. 3% damage reduction, degrades with damage, but can be replenished at a campfire. The buff also stacks with the legendary exoskeleton, basically making you more resistant to everything, damage-wise. It also grants 2+ health. Now this so far is one of the best talents I've seen on any race so far in Deepwoken that I've covered. They also start off with 2 plus Fortitude and 2 plus Willpower as their starting attributes. Now that we got the stats and talents over with, we can actually start to think about where do the Visperians and Ganymedes branch off of. They said that they were trying to combat the rising waters. That means before any luminant was created, that the waters were basically at ground zero. That means before any of Deepwoken or any of Lord Regent or any of Duke or any of anything was existing, there was bedrock ground level to think about. Now this is pretty important to think about because that means that the depths themselves are basically mountains to standing ground. It's really weird when you think about it. But yeah, I don't know why their species was about to go extinct, but they definitely did go through some evolutionary process. If they were to turn into Visperians and Ganymedes, they say that Visperians also have a life-weaving ability, or not just Visperians, but Visperians and Ganymedes. And you can also see that when I don't know which developer it is, but one of the developers or one of the moderators have a special ability where they can create trees out of nowhere, which I suspect to be life weaving. Now, the first time I saw it, I was confused about it as well, but now this clears it up once I go over the Visperian lore. Life weaving must be a sort of bending, kind of like with an avatar, where they can take matter and grow it at an exponential speed. Thus, that's why they call it life weaving. I don't know if this ability or this talent or whatever it will, I don't know if it will be furthered in Deepwoken later on. It's basically wood bending, like a senju. They say especially talented Visperians, Ganymedes, the both that come from the previous race could life weave. So maybe it will be a element or talent within Deepwoken. Hopefully they just won't leave it exclusively to the developer or moderator that has it right now. So that is basically all I have on Visperian for now. I really don't know what the life weaving and all of it really means. Only more lore can explain. I am just speculating here of what happens within Deepwoken. Who are the Felons? So there is actually no lore on the Felons on the wiki, but there are their talents and attributes. Their talent is called Night Child. Relying on your instincts, you are naturally more stealthy. You are more nimble on wooden surfaces as well. 1.25 times agility when climbing and 1.5 times agility when climbing on wooden surfaces, and you also have improved stealth. All Felons start with 2 plus charisma and 2 agility. And since I have no lore to go off of, I can only speculate that this race was either put in here for trolls or was just put in here as another race for other places like Lair 2. There also are different variants, but the variants really don't matter as much, even though I should have went over the variants in the previous videos of who are they. Yeah, this is as much information as we have on the Felons right now. So, there is not much to say on the Felons, but does say that they are night children, so I can only speculate that they have more affinity towards shadow or shadowcast because they're called night children, or they are certain offspring of a certain drowned god within Deepwoken. Now, I don't know this for sure because there's no lore surrounding them, but being able to have more agility or start off with more agility and have charisma and agility to start off with means that they're probably related to a type of trickster god within Deepwoken. We can see this with the event that spawns at the Minitricia Valley of the Heroes. I don't know what her name is, like, for sure, but you guys know you've been in that event where they pop you somewhere else or teleport you somewhere else with their what I can only speculate to be illusion magic, because that illusion magic is present when you have used Vision Shaper. But yeah, I don't have much lore on them right now. This is all I can give for now because there's nothing really to work off of except for their own talent. Who are the Ganymede? Eons ago, a long-extinct species faced a cultural shift in response to the rising tides. Those talented few, blessed with the art of life-weaving, vowed to turn their backs to the tides and grow great living hives above the ocean deep, becoming what we in the modern world know as Visperians. With the minor few embracing those coming waves, sinking to the deep and settling in as its latest drowned inhabitants, these adventurous folk became our modern Ganymedes. This is the same lore that is with the Visperians. I'll actually link the video so that you guys will be able to go check it out. But yeah, this is the Visperian lore on the Ganymede wiki. So they do have a talent called Deep Folk. The secrets of the deep are easier for you to unravel. Your mind is sturdier against its effects. Basically, that is its description, and it gives you passive, it lowers your passive insanity gain in the depths, so basically makes you more tolerant to gaining insanity. As the race, you gain 2 intelligence and 2 willpower to start off with. Honestly, this is one of my favorite races within Deepwoken because of the attributes that you start off with. I know it's only 2 points, but those are basically the two talents that I usually love to go on any of my builds: intelligence and willpower. Now, I've already talked about most of the lore within the Visperian video, but Ganymedes, they are the depths inhabitants, and I speculate they might have been the founders of the divers. Now, the reason why I say this is because only they were the ones who inhabited the depths first, so it only makes sense that they were the ones who made the divers and passed down the knowledge of how to regain sanity and how to gain insanity less than other people who were above the surface, basically the Visperians and so on. So yeah, there's actually not that much on the race right now because it has the same lore as the Visperian. They have the same lore as the Visperians. I will definitely link that within the video. But yeah, that's all I kind of have for Ganymede right now. Who are the Etrians? The Etrians of the Etrian Luminant are a race like no other, as they themselves are xenophobic to others not of their race. This is from their dislike of others possibly altering their way of it already existing, and how others influence their pre-existing traditions. The people of Etrians have been in scrambles ever since their king had left them, with the current reigning lord causing great dismay to his people rather than helping them. The serpent folk yearn for their king's return, and some words on the wind speak of his return, others his falsehoods. The Etrian guard take up Gilbreth as their atonement. Now, this lore basically kind of confirms that Lord Regent is not the current or the king that the Etrian people want, and it also kind of tells much about Etrians' personalities, that most of them are on top of the world since they're within their own luminant. As you read there, that most of them are xenophobic from others because they don't want their tradition to be basically undermined by others. Now, as they explained, they are with the Eastern Luminant, but in-game it's called the Etrian Luminant. So that means all Etrians have, or most of Etrians have conquered most of the land within the Eastern Luminant. Now, you guys already know this because basically Etrians are everywhere in all of your events. So, in all honesty, the only lore that I can pick from this is that the Etrian people most likely would want to stay within their own luminant instead of explore like the Way of Neve or the Minitricia Scouts that have all types of other races. They have a talent called Malt, which basically makes any status effect last shorter, whether it's a good or bad status effect, and they take less damage to Acid Rain, and it gives them 1 HP, and they start off with 2 agility and 2 intelligence. But yeah, that is basically all of the lore on Etrians. It's basically a little backstory of their king and what Etrians are. Unlike the other Who Are They videos, it doesn't explain much of their lore, it just explains their current status within the Etrian Luminant. Who are the Adrets? The Adrets are historically recent arrived race of spiritually adept individuals that make up the bulk of the greatest force in the world, the Adretian Authority. The spirituality derives from the markings that are upon their face, representing future in life / what they are to be. When gaining these marks, it is up to the Adret on what they mean. Others will also interpret their own markings one way or another. So from that piece of text, we already see that the Adrets are more complicated than they look within game. They control the most powerful driving force of the world within Deepwoken, the Authority. And I didn't know that the Adrets actually owned the Authority until reading their lore. When you actually go to Summer Isles, there's somebody who, I don't know if they are a archivist or a historian, but they start to talk. When you talk to them, they are kind of baffled by not being able to find anything on the Adrets before the waves came and rose the tides. So they start to keep going on and explaining themselves that they are probably a race that came with the waves or from somewhere else entirely. When you go to the Great Hive Mind and look through the telescope, it gives you some lore on the flood that made the Illuminants and what the flood actually brought to the world, basically. Their talent is called Maudet. Your understanding of your destiny is such that learning new things comes naturally to you. People appreciate your diplomatic way of speaking, and that means you receive 1 free point whenever you power up, basically autodidact. And your starting reputation with all factions is higher. This also gives you +1 health. And your extra attributes bonuses is 2 willpower and 2 charisma. But yeah, that's basically all on the Adrets right now. Lore wise and everything. They're basically a race that came with the waves, and I think the waves were not even of this world within Deepwoken. They just came mysteriously, maybe from another place. Maybe we'll learn more about all these races within Layer 2, who are the Chrysalids. The Chrysalids used to be part of the Great Hive races, alongside Visperian and Ganymedes. However, they split off due to their belief of faith over technology. Despite splitting off the Great Hives, the Chrysalids are still welcome to reside there, as explained by here. There are no hard feelings between the Great Hives and the Chrysalids. Many Chrysalids chose to reside in the Lullaby Isles, an area surrounded by a dense mountain range at sea, off the coast of Makor, with multiple small islands dotted around the region. This area is not seen in-game, but mentioned. Every village in the Lullaby Isles serves the Lady Confessor, a theoretical dictator which decides what is sin and punishes those who stand in her way. Within the central Isles of the Lullaby Isles is a city-state where the Council of the Moonlight Faith resides. Here in Great Hive, Eretel, and Lake in Upper Resia reveal lore about the Chrysalids. Many Chrysalids believe that the appearance of a collar signifies that one of their own has obtained wisdom, possibly a form of elder identification. So, from that piece of text, we already know that the Chrysalids resided with the Ganymede and the Visperians, and that they have some sort of evolution system like the Visperians do. What I mean by this is that they have something on their body that can change depending on how much knowledge they have or how wise they are. They also have basically an HQ or a place of origin, which are the Isles, the Lullaby Isles, which is ruled over by a certain chrysalid. I forgot her name, but she says what goes and what is sin or not within the Lullaby Isles. Now this place is not in-game, but it is mentioned within game, and I believe it'll be part of Deepwoken soon because of the amount of detail they put in explaining the Lullaby Islands. But there is not as much lore on Chrysalis for now, but they do have pretty good buffs. They start off with 2 agility and 2 charisma, and they have a talent, a race talent called Mothwing Dust. Being attacked causes you to release Mothwing Dust, granting you vision of your attacker. People who attack you are highlighted for you to see, useful to find people with long-range attacks or in dark areas. So it basically is a ESP type dust. It does not do any passive damage or radiation. And yeah, that's on the Chrysalis for now. I believe more will come out on their lore when the Lullaby Isles is put within Deepwoken. I don't know if that will happen or when that will happen. Who are the Tyrant? When they reach adulthood, a Tyrant will forge their own glider and fly off of the mountains they call home. Yes, that is literally all the lore on the Tyrant, on the wiki page at least. And when I posted my previous video, I saw that one of you said that I shouldn't take information from the wiki, but I really can't find another reliable place to find information for Deepwoken, so yes, I have to use the wiki. Unfortunately, only the wiki. But yeah, you can't really get much lore from these people. When I searched up their name, what was brought up was a ancient term, basically an ancient term that they used to refer to somebody who is a tyrant or an absolute ruler. So yeah, there's not much lore on the Tyrant right now, and I haven't explored all of the new update within Layer 2. You guys know why. But yeah, I haven't seen any Tyrant on the map either. Apparently they do get their own glider as well when they reach a certain age in Deepwoken, I believe, or they might get it off the bat. I don't have the race personally. Their race talent is called Feathered Glider. As a show of independence, when they come of age, Tyrants will strike out on their own with their handcrafted glider, gliding down from the mountain peaks where they make their homes. You take 10% less fall damage. Spawn with a feathered glider with infinite uses. The descent rate of it is also slightly lower, making you travel slightly further than with a regular glider. They also start off with 2 willpower, 2 plus willpower, and 2 plus agility. But yeah, that's all the information that I could find on these Tyrant for now. Maybe with later updates we'll actually be able to understand what the Tyrant are, because apparently I believe they come from where the Etrians come from, on the mountaintops. But yeah, that's all I have on the Tyrant for now. Make sure to do what I said in the beginning, like the videos so it can be seen everywhere, and subscribe so you don't miss when I post again. Make sure to have a nice day, guys, and see you guys within the next video.